In this particular session, we want to focus on migrating to Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We're going to narrow down our scope a little bit and focus on email marketing, which is still a critical communication channel, for most brands. If you attended our previous webinar, I believe last month, we covered a series of best practices when migrating to a new email marketing platform. And the first one was ensuring the structure of your data, which means mapping the different data sources and how they relate with your customer. What's my source of truth? How is my data organized? What's my master data source of record? Onboarding subscribers. Number 2 is onboarding subscribers into the new platform, which covers how we need to start gradually sending emails to our new subscribers so we can build and maintain our sender reputation. And number 3 was ensuring the integrity of your data. And this is where Fresh Address platform can help you, not only to make sure the email addresses we're importing are safe to send, but also that we're continuing to monitor the new subscribers as they come in. These 3 items don't really change because you migrate to Salesforce Marketing Cloud. These are best practices that you should follow. But there are special considerations that we learned throughout years of implementing this solution that we thought could be beneficial to you, whether you're about to begin the journey of migrating to this platform or you are considering utilizing this platform. So let's talk about this. The first one is define your business unit and brand structure. So depending on the type of license you choose, Marketing Cloud assets, users, and data can be organized in separate sub-accounts called business units. Business units are useful, for example, if you work with multiple countries that are managed by multiple teams, or if you work with multiple brands, right? So defining your business unit structure is important when you are beginning to set up your account before you even migrate data. In addition to this, you need to decide how email subscribers are going to interact with these business units. For example, if you're going to be able to unsubscribe from one business unit but not from the others, or if by unsubscribing from one business unit will cause unsubscribing from everything. How you segment data on each business unit is also important. Imagine that you don't want to be fatiguing your subscribers because you're sending emails to the same person from 3 different brands. So it's very important to define this business unit structure and brand structure when you are about to set up your Marketing Cloud account. The second one is define your subscriber key. What is a subscriber key? A subscriber key is a text field that contains a value that can uniquely identify a subscriber in your Marketing Cloud account. By default, your subscriber key or unique identifier is email address. Let's say, for example, that you have a CRM where email addresses can be the same for different records. I don't know, for example, if you have a household where they share the email address, but they have a unique ID, that's different because they are different members of that household. The subscriber key feature gives you the ability to identify subscriber by a value that you choose, which is not email address, it's something else. So you can have the same email address for multiple records. Otherwise, your unique identifier by default is email address when it comes to email marketing, right? So if your unique identifier is email address, that's okay, no problem. But if you need to use a different identifier to ID those subscribers, you really need to make sure that your mind is set. You plan this out. Let's say, for example, that you're in the middle of the implementation, you've been doing some email sends, and say that you decide to change the data field that you're going to use for subscriber key, which you can. You can totally do that. But then you will have to go through a very thorough process, which we've done in the past, right? But importing all your subscribers, unsubscribing and deleting the old contacts, and creating some sort of mapping between your old subscriber key and the new subscriber key, so you don't lose any of the historical tracking data. So it's a process that is convoluted because you change it in the middle of things. So you have to reconcile all the tracking data that you had for the old subscriber key, map it to the new one so you can get accurate data back. So believe me when I tell you that defining how you're going to uniquely identify your subscribers and what your subscriber key will be is a critical process when migrating into Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Let's talk about the third one. It's called design and implement I call it a data loop. So usually if you are migrating to Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you have different scenarios that you can face. You are either migrating from another email marketing platform, and both of them need to run in parallel for a bit, maybe because your contract hasn't expired, you have to have the two of them running for a little bit. You are using a separate platform to maintain the single source of truth, so you need to know if something changes in your marketing platform. So for example, if I change my email address, I need to let the data warehouse know that happened. You need to collect tracking data from Marketing Cloud so you can give it to, say, a business intelligence tool, like a reporting tool that is not Marketing Cloud, it's something else. So you need to export that data. So you can face these scenarios, these three, or all of them at once, right? All these can happen to you. If that's the case, you need to think about what your feedback loop is going to be, meaning that the data you collect in Salesforce Marketing Cloud needs to be exported to the outside for consumption. And in some cases that you need to import data into Marketing Cloud so you can update information about subscribers before sending emails. Luckily, Salesforce Marketing Cloud has a great tool called Automation Studio that allows you to import, transform, and export data in the platform very easily. And the last one, which is going to take us to a demo, the reality is that we could really spend a lot of hours discussing best practices. These are not all. We can discuss best practices and tips to migrate to Salesforce Marketing Cloud for a long time. We wanted to pick some of the most important ones when you start to migrate to a platform. And if you have any questions about the tool and anything, you can reach out to us and we can talk even further. But the last one I wanted to share has to do with our partner Freshadress and the critical process of importing data into Salesforce Marketing Cloud, because this platform and importing data are very related. As you know, it's very important to make sure email addresses that you're importing are free from syntax errors and they're not spam traps, and then 100% safe to send. And as you onboard new subscriber, you also want to keep doing the validation. So we're going to wrap up today's session with a quick demo of how Freshadress and Marketing Cloud can talk to each other. But before I dive into a demo, I'd like for Keith to tell us just a little bit more how Freshadress works and why is it important.
Thanks, Pato. Yes, let's just take a quick look at why email data hygiene is such an essential part of the data migration process. And I think the number one point here to get across is that a Marketing Cloud migration it's a serious project, right? You don't want to invest your time and your money into a new platform and then wind up with more problems than you had when you started. You want this migration to move your business forward. And one thing that can really cause a roadblock is bad email addresses. And there are a bunch of different types, and they especially exist in some of your older files and the data you collect from new sources. I know especially in this day and age, people are trying new things, trying to offset the lack of in-person events, and that also opens up the door to some dangerous stuff that can cause problems for you. And these bad email addresses, they're going to cause you to spend money unnecessarily with your ESP. They're going to mess up your metrics. They can result in some pretty serious deliverability issues, and some of the nastier stuff like spam traps can sink your whole entire email program for a period of time. So these are all bad things that you don't want, and you just want to make sure that you're cleaning out some of this bad stuff before you bring it over into Marketing Cloud, and that you have a way to discern the good from the bad once you're up and running and you're collecting and auditing all the new stuff that comes in. We can move on to the next slide. And this is where Freshadress enters the equation. We have the most robust email hygiene solution available, and it's integrated with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. as Pato mentioned a moment ago. He'll show you how that works in a minute. We have a 3-step process. It's check, correct, protect. And the first step is kind of a server check. Just make sure that the email address is valid, the server can accept mail. The correct part is our patented spell check technology. So we're going to correct a bunch of inadvertent errors and typos in your file. This goes for the stuff that's existing in your database and any new data that you collect in real time or via batch. So this is very important, especially when you're looking at customer email addresses. We see our customers value an email address, customer email addresses from anywhere from $1 to $500, depending on the industry. So if we can correct some of those, provide a suggestion, and now you can connect and send a welcome email or a discount or product information that your customers rely on you for and expect from you, that's a big deal. The third step of the process is protect. This gets into identifying and flagging the toxic stuff that I talked about before, the spam traps and the other stuff that can really cause some serious issues for you. So that's our 3-step process. And the benefits of using this, in addition to not hitting spam traps and being blocked and blacklisted, you're only going to be bringing clean and problem-free data into your new platform, which is huge as you're executing your migration. You're going to gain more guaranteed, safe, and deliverable email addresses that can help push your business forward. Like I said, you're going to avoid the blacking and blocklisting problems, and you're going to maximize your deliverability, your open rates, response rates, and revenues.